my reason for being a pink pistol is if condense it down to one thing is I effing hate bullies.
Okay.
I am a firm believer in anybody who is victimized, discriminated against, ganged up on, and I'm being interviewed on camera, by the way.
He's wearing a cap.
So I'm wearing a body cam. So I'm
Anyway.
going to be lobbying Danica Rowan
Okay.
in the next few weeks. So I'm asking for testimonies from people from this community.
I'll probably drop by her office too.
Okay.
I'm not sure how much headspace I can make with Carrie Delaney, but
Yeah.
she's not as rabid as some of the other ones, though.
Is Delaney your representative?
Yeah, she's my delegate. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I got Jerry a few years ago. I got gerrymandered onto the end of Chap Peterson's.
Okay.
And Chap was originally okay. We actually got him. VCDL actually helped get him elected to displace an anti-gun rhino. But he has like gone to the dark side because he basically went emo over the mass shootings. But anyway, so back to the Pink Pistols thing. The origin of the group, a Salon.com writer named Jonathan Rausch in about 2000 wrote an article, and he was talking about a story he'd heard where a young guy was hanging around in a park because he couldn't go to gay bars because he was 17, underage, and he was talking to a guy, and a truckload of rednecks came up and started yelling "Catch AIDS and die," with assorted sexual insults, etc. And the older guy told him to fuck off, told him to bugger off. And they came piling out of the truck carrying blunt instruments, and the older guy reached into his truck and pulled out a pistol and put a round into the ground between their feet. And all of a sudden they left. And this was in fact a lesson to the younger guy who wound up becoming an NRA instructor and stuff like that. What Rausch said was that there needed to be pink pistol committees formed to teach LGBTs to defend themselves. And a couple of people up in Massachusetts, Doug Crick and Dave Roschek, wrote to Rausch and said, well, can we use the name? And he said, go for it. So they started it. And then Northern Virginia, I got involved, I was sitting around a VCDL meeting, and this gal and her boyfriend and girlfriend showed up with a laptop and did a PowerPoint and said, hi, we're your new allies. And a bunch of us said, these look like fun people to go shoot with.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and the Virginia chapter expanded quite a bit. And then when Colleen got burnout, she handed the chapter over to me.
Okay. Well, phenomenal. So can I ask you to address your thoughts on the red flag laws and address them as if you're speaking to Danica?
Okay.
Because I'm gonna try and play this.
Absolutely. Red flag laws. I see they have absolutely no protection against false reporting. I can very well see an abuser whose victim has moved out but is capable of defending herself. I can see an abuser calling in a BS red flag on her, taking her guns, and then going after her when she's disarmed.
Yep.
The universal background check. I've read the Virginia bill. It looks like they trimmed down some of the stuff that got Washington State sued up one side and down the other. For example, there's a video of me out there teaching a reporter from DC Metro Weekly, the online gay video magazine.
Yeah.
There's a video out there of me teaching him to shoot, and the amount of times that I handed a gun to him and he handed it back, in the original Washington State version of the law, would have left us each with about 5 felonies.
Yeah.
Because we didn't go up front to get a background check every time we handed the gun back and forth. So the Virginia one has cleaned out the stuff that will obviously have them get their socks sewed off, but it's still a nuisance. And what I would do is, if they want universal background checks, just open up the state police background check hotline. Just set up a free, publicly available hotline, and then as an incentive, grant the seller immunity for anything that's done with the gun after it's sold.
Okay.
And then the whole penalties and all that garbage. No, unless you actually sell to a prohibited person, there should not be a penalty.
If they pass a background check, you should be fine.
Mm-hmm. But then the other stuff, the Capitol Square gun ban is a solution in search of a problem.
They're going to try doing that before lobby day.
Okay. They can't pass it. They can't have it take effect before July.
But they can have it take effect as a rule on the grounds and in the building before lobby day. It's not a law, so the rest of the state won't take effect. But they can do it on the grounds and in the Capitol building.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Let's say I'm not going to say on camera what. I'm not going to use the vocabulary that actually comes to mind for that. But it is a solution in search of a problem, and it is specifically a middle finger aimed at us.
Yeah.
And the only times that there have ever been any incidents involving guns, you have one delegate who put a negligent discharge into a Kevlar vest hanging on the back of his office door. He said he was unloading it and it went off, right? I'm thinking Quick Draw McGraw.
Yeah.
And there was one who was wearing a Sneaky Pete holster, and somebody had a heart attack when it fell off his belt, and somebody else found it in the house chamber and about had a heart attack when they opened it up and realized it was a holster. And then, of course, there is good old Diddling Joe Morrissey taking
I haven't heard this one.
Oh, okay. He was bloviating about the need to ban assault weapons, and had an AK semi clone with with an apparently loaded magazine in it, bolt forward, in the house chamber, and was waving it around, holding it over his head with his thumb on the trigger.
Oh, Jesus.
Which is why every VCDL person who's run into him ever since has offered him safety training. But you know why they call him Diddling Joe. Went to jail for boffing a 17-year-old intern.
Oh, for God's sakes.
Oh, is that guy?
Yeah, he's the one.
He married
He's the one. Yeah, I mean, he's now married her and they have a couple of kids. But no, actually, there's somebody ran as an independent write-in and still got 30% of the vote. But no, Morrissey finished his last term as a delegate on work release from jail, so he was actually sitting in the House and voting with an ankle monitor.
Jesus.
And this guy's now a senator.
So when he was waving the AK around, was that condition 1 or condition 3? Did he have like a round in the chamber, or was it just a mag?
You can't tell, but there was a mag in and the bolt was closed. So it could very well have been 1.
It was loaded? He had a loaded mag?
Yeah, no way of telling if the mag had anything in it.
Okay.
It was just he pulled it, he just picked it up and it was already it already had a mag in and the bolt down.
Horrifying. The fact that he wants to legislate.
Yeah. So in other words, the only people who have actually caused problems have been members of the General Assembly.
Yep.
Right. Which means after 20 years of us being there and never having a problem, there's no reason for those laws and rules.
Yeah.
And then of course there is Swingin' Richard Saslaw. I will leave to your imagination the various puns on his first name that I've used. And we're going to make everybody in Virginia that owns a magazine-fed semi a felon on July 1st.
Yeah.
And And obviously, they're probably going to go, oh, well, we'll be reasonable. We'll grandfather the stuff. We'll register. Yeah, no. Now, here I am going to be rude. As far as, oh, we can tidy this up and we'll grandfather instead of mass confiscation, I have one thing to say. You can't polish a turd.
Yeah. Well, the other comment there is that who are we to take away our rights from our kids?
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
I just got my text message from the
Go
shop
for
desk.
it.
So
Anyway,
I'm
pleased to
going to
meet
go
you.
shoot. I will
See
be
you- I
around.
will see
I'm
you
going
in
to
a
go for an
couple
hour
weeks.
on the range, and then if I
Yeah.
will stick around here.
Yeah.
If anybody else wants to give comments or
Yep.
anything, please
I'll
speak into the
see
mic.
With the